Oh,
Hello?
I'm 72. Hi, I'm 72.
You're
Good night.
72? Are you 18 plus?
Yeah, I'm 72.
Okay.
I'm
All right.
over 18. I'm 72 years old.
Yeah, I know you're not 18. It seems like
Okay.
you're above 18 or above 18 though, so it's fine. But yeah, do you think that being gay is immoral?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, why so?
How do we get our morality?
Yeah, so I think that morality is just gonna be a description of our psychological preferences. And then we'll give like reasons as to why we hold a particular preference or whatnot.
Or psychological preferences? So that means if you hold something to be immoral, it is immoral.
Yeah, according to your view.
Okay. So what is the populace of the society and their views on homosexuality?
It depends on the country that you reference, but I wouldn't think that it's relevant what other people think about morality. I don't think that majority appeal is going to infer what's right or wrong.
So you don't think that the populace opinions on it matter? It's just a person's self perception. So if the populace of society deems it to be immoral, how is it moral?
Yeah, it's just not going to be relevant to my position. So I would see it to be a morally neutral position here, because I don't think that a preference, as long as there's a consenting adult relation here, is going to infer that it's either moral or immoral. So
No, but
yeah,
it
I just don't think it would apply.
does.
How
No,
so?
but it does, because if you say that it is based on somebody's own self perception of what is morally just or what is amoral, and if the
Yeah.
populace of society deems this act amoral, that means it is immoral. Because if it is that you agree with it, it's like if I say, okay, I think that slavery should be legalized, right? You would say that it's immoral based on your perception, right? Yes. So if it is that the populace of society deems your actions amoral, that means the society is has come to a consensus that it is immoral, right?
Yeah, so that would just mean that they hold the view that it's immoral. That wouldn't mean that I have to hold the view that it's immoral or that it's a fact that it's immoral. So it would just be a
No, but
description
it
that they hold that particular preference.
no, but society, it's like when slavery was legalized, the society deemed it moral, and thus, the society came to a consensus that people could be enslaved. So if it is that the society has come to a conclusion or a consensus that your sexuality is wrong, that means it's wrong based on societal's view and judgment. And you, as a person with your own self perception, cannot deem it moral, as you just said. If I perceive slavery to be moral, and you would perceive it to be amoral, so that would be the view. So you, by that conjecture, has agreed that homosexuality is wrong.
No, definitely not. So I wouldn't say that my perception about morality or my psychological preferences are going to align up with what a majority of society concludes. Like for example, if a majority of society thinks that it's morally acceptable, thank you for the hand, I appreciate it, for children to marry adults, like 13-year-olds to marry 40-year-olds, would you then implicate that that's morally acceptable for that to happen?
You're agreeing with me. You're agreeing with me. So it is based on the consensus of one
I
things is wrong.
No, 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 no.
So
No,
and
that wasn't the position that I was holding there.
yes,
That wasn't the position that I was holding
that's
there.
exactly
Sorry, I'm
what
just
you
trying to,
said.
it's miscommunication. So I was asking, yeah, I was asking you a question. I was saying, is your position that you determine what's moral and what's immoral based upon society's preferences, like agreed upon preference, like consensus?
No, and I agree with you. So, given it that you just said, if a person own self perception is that it's amoral, just like if society says, it's okay to marry 13-year-olds, and you look at that as wrong because of the impact that it will have on the physical of the 13-year-old child, right? you deem it morally unjust. So given the fact that society sees that being gay comes with a lot of diseases, it has negative impacts on the bodies. It has been linked to pedophilia. The organization called
Definitely
the
not.
LGBT community. Let me finish, please. The organization called the LGBT community has been labeled as a pedophilic one, given what they're trying to normalize. Now we have transgenderism, which literally allows a person to self-mutilate their bodies, cutting off functioning body parts. Now we have trans age, which says that a grown man can identify as a 6-year-old, right? Now we have gender neutral pronouns, which forces somebody with their religious beliefs to put it aside to accommodate somebody's self-perception of themselves. So we see where this lifestyle choice, right, has caused a lot of damage to society, and we see where it is negatively impacting society, right, and it is causing harm, thus making it immoral because it does more harm than good. Can you tell me the benefits of being gay?
Yeah, so I
Thank
wouldn't
you
consider
guys
there
for
to
the
be like,
gifts. I'm sorry.
yeah, I wouldn't consider there to be like straight up benefits or negatives to like necessarily being gay. That's going to be like a subjective manner for the individual in terms of expressing yourself as gay or whatnot. That's just going to be that. So again, can you give me any reason to think that pedophilia is linked to like people who are part of the LGBTQ community? Because again, what you just
Oh,
described with like trans age
okay.
isn't something that actually like is applicable to any argument that I would be referencing. So if you'd like to provide anything
Trans
against
age
anything that I'm
isn't
saying right now, yeah, could you like I'd let you finish,
okay.
but
So you
would you let
want
me finish so that you can understand
names?
my question?
Oh, I understood it. Thank you guys for the gifts. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, I mean, I didn't get fully through with it, but you can go for it, respond.
No problem. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. So again, what is going to be the argument for like pedophilia being linked to the LGBTQ community?
Okay. Do you know who David Thorstad is?
No, I do not.
Oh, well, he's one of the founding members of, the gay rights. He was an avid member of NABLA. Do you know what NABLA is?
No clue.
Oh, NABLA is the North American Man Boy Love Association. So basically, it's gay men, homosexual men who believe that they should have the right to have intercourse with little boys. Do you know who Henry Harry Hay is?
No, but can I respond to the argument that you just laid out? Yeah, so this is going to
Oh,
be what's
sure.
called,
Go ahead.
yeah, so this is
No,
going to be
you
what's
said
called,
you wanted names. I'm not finished with the names. Can I give you more names? So we
yeah,
have
for sure.
David Thorstad, we have Henry Harry Hay, we have John Money, we have Alfred Kinsey. Do you want more names?
No.
You don't want more names?
Okay,
I
so
got
yeah,
one more. He came up with the
yeah,
term fit. Just this last one, please, so that the audience will know to look these people up. Um, just for reference, maybe it's my accent. Do you mind saying it in English so that they can understand? Because
yeah,
my
you're saying it in
accent is
English
pretty
right now, so
strong.
yeah, but I think people can understand your accent. I think that's completely fine. So I'm just going to
Oh,
reference
and
like
we
the thing
have
that you brought up. So
Volkmar. Hold on, this last one and then I'm through. Then we have Volkmar Segush. He was the German sexologist and psychologist. He came up with the term cis. He was a bisexual man, and he also believed that children and grown men should be free to love on each other sexually. Go ahead.
yeah, so are you against cops in the United States?
If I'm against cops in the United States, I'm not against anybody living their lives. I'm against people doing things that are wrong.
No, I'm asking a very particular question. Are you against cops in the United States?
As I said, I'm not against police authority. If the police officer in question did something wrong, then I could be against him. But to judge a collective, right? I would say I have to look at their moral standings, the things that they've done, to judge them as a group, just like I judge the alphabet community, the LGBT as a group, because the narrative being put forward is normalizing children mutilating themselves and grown men being able to have sex with children. So that is why I judge it as a collective.
Yeah, thank you for the little crown. I appreciate it. So yeah, the reason why I brought this up is because originally speaking, like the very origin of police in the United States of America was as slave catchers, right? So we wouldn't actually describe police in the United States today as the origin of what they were, because that wouldn't accurately represent the systems that exist today. The same sort of way, when you reference the first people who refer to these terms, or the first people who were talking about these things as a representation of the entire LGBTQ community, that's going to be wrong. And I could also reference as this is like what's called the composition fallacy. So you're arguing that because a part acts this way would imply that the whole acts this way. And you said that this was wrong to do within the context of what I just brought up in terms of judging a collective, right, and the other scenario. But then you did the same thing with the LGBTQ community. And then an example I like to give of this is that, like, for example, trees are not visible to the human eye, right? But atoms are not visible to the human eye, right? But trees are made up of atoms. So therefore, although logically speaking, that we cannot see trees given our human eyes because they're made up of atoms, right? But that's going to be a composition fallacy. That's why we can actually still see trees. So that's the same sort of thing that you're necessarily doing right now.
No, that's not the same kind of thing that I'm necessarily doing, because police officers aren't going around catching slaves. Police officers aren't going around lynching Black men and women. Statistically, more white people are unalived by the police than Black people. Sure. And as a Black woman, I can tell you.
Proportionally speaking, there's a distinction.
No.
But what I'm referencing.
No, I didn't interrupt you. I didn't interrupt you.
Well, you're just getting you're getting miscommunicated here. I want to make sure that we get onto the right thing, because again,
no, we are onto the right thing. I understood. I know. I understood your reference, but your reference is flawed. Given the fact that police officers now aren't going around catching slaves, slavery has been abolished, but now with the alphabet community, even though their members were created by pedophiles, we see the narrative being pushed by the LGBT community. Drag your kids went to drag show. I'm going to post several videos now of drag shows where the drag queens were dressed scantily with 2-year-old children looking at their private areas. We can also look at the LGBT community now to solidify the fact that it was created by pedos, and the narrative is to legalize pedoism, with the fact that they say bring your children to Pride, where we see grown men putting little boys in tutus on stripper poles, women and men gyrating in thongs in front of children. We see It's Perfectly Normal, which is a book that is under the queer history, being distributed to children as young as 10, with graphic images of children as young as 11 performing fellatio on each other. We can see My Growing Body under the queer theory in schools, teaching children that it's okay as young as 9 to masturbate. We can see all of this. So while slavery, the police were created to catch Black people during slavery, we can see where that has been abolished. But with the alphabet community, with the LGBT community, it was created by pedophiles, and we see the pedophilic nature of the organization. And for those who are saying that I'm spreading misinformation, I have all of these videos. You can go to my YouTube, Shiloh Based, one word, SHILOH BASED, where you can see a plethora of adult images and content distributed to children as young as 4. There is also literature work that has been called out by numerous parents at school board meetings, where they're telling children it's okay to masturbate as young as 4. We've seen one of the latest incidents in Chicago, where a dean of administration at a school brought drag queens to the school under the queer history curriculum, with the drag queens handing out dildos and butt plugs to the children as young as 13. So we see a pattern with the LGBT community that you cannot deny. It is pedophilic, it is grooming, and it is wrong. So while police were created, to do bad things, we saw where no police are doing good things. Can you tell me the good that the LGBT community has done for society? How has it bettered society?
Yeah, I don't think that something necessarily has to better society, but we can just reference it in terms of people being able to express who they are as individuals. And the reason why I'm referring to this as a composition fallacy is you keep doing this, is you're referring to a part of it, necessarily describing how the whole community is, which is a very big issue, because I think that anyone would necessarily, with a rational mind, be against all of these things. Obviously, we're going to be against like children being shown like very sexual things, or children who are 4 years old being told to masturbate. Like, I think that's pretty absurd. Anyone would be against that. That's not representative of the LGBTQ community. That's just going to be very insane people that are necessarily going to be gay and whatnot. So this is going to be an association. The same sort of way we can look at police officers now that do very fucked up things. There are lots of videos of police officers going way overboard in terms of like their legal proceedings, what they can do, necessarily being violent towards people, whether or not they're black or white. Across the board, we see this. So again, we're not going to describe all of police by virtue of this. The same way we're not going to describe all of gay people or the entire LGBTQ community by virtue of just a few people. So again, this is not an argument that justifies your position. It's simply a fallacy.
No, but that justifies my position, because under the police umbrella, they are taught to protect and serve. So if one or two go outside of that, then you cannot judge the organization. But when literature and history under the queer umbrella is being taught to children to masturbate, this is under your umbrella. This is your history. This is categorized as queer history, where they're teaching 4-year-olds to masturbate, 10-year-olds to masturbate, handing out books that describe and paint and characterize graphic sexual images. So if it is that the police force as a whole was teaching the police officers to brutalize unalive unarmed men, arrest people on false allegations, then we could say, okay, you know what, this organization is doing that. But under the LGBT umbrella and curriculum, we see where they are sexualizing children, grooming children. We see that with, what's his name? The guy say, oh, it's come talk to me, children. What's his name? I don't remember his name. Jeremy? Is that his name? Jeremy? We see him telling children to join his platform and not tell their parents. So, and this is more than one person. I've seen lives on this platform with trans women with their genitals out. I have screenshots of that with numerous children within that community. No, we've seen so many lives on this platform with people from the LGBT community saying that children can consent. We're seeing where they say that children should have the right
Can you actually
to make their own adult
None
decision.
Of this has to do with anything I've said. Thank you for the
It has everything to do with it has everything to do with what you said.
Clear. I've been very clear.
It has everything, because that makes it immoral. That is what makes it immoral. The fact that it's doing bad things. So we can all, as a collective, as a society, determine wrong from right. And given the fact that there is more wrong within the LGBT community, that is what makes it immoral. The lifestyle is immoral. The organization is immoral. And that is why people need to disassociate from that community, because it has done nothing to benefit society. A matter of fact, it has brought society to the dark ages, where it's going to legalize children and adults having intercourse. So that is why being gay is immoral. But thank you for having me. Take care of yourself.
Wait, so you're just gonna deflect, pivot, and then not engage with anything that I have to say. So do you actually want to sit back? Wait.
No.
You actually want to sit back and engage with the arguments rather than going on like a
screen? Look at your screen. I've just been flagged. No. Look at your screen. They just flagged me. They're reporting me. I can come back anytime. I don't want them to take this account, but I will come back. They just flagged me. Look at your screen. I know you saw it. I'm not running.
I don't see a single thing on my screen. Where is it at? Where do I look?
Falca, you didn't see that they flagged me for hateful behavior?
Where's the flag?
I will come back on another account. I'm coming back on another account. One other account. Give me 1 second.
What's the account name so I can add you?
It's gonna have my face as well.
Okay, for sure.